Sharing ideas is the funnest part of the creative process. We decided to skip the boring part of actually making stuff and just do the fun part. I'm your host, Tom Walma,
And I am Justin Sakarica.
and this is Creativity Wasted.
I'm ready, man. We got a packed house tonight. Just you
Yeah.
and I here. Yeah.
five or six cancellations, and
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that in because passive aggressiveness, I guess.
No.
I'm not going to name the names, though.
So it's an unfortunate part of life that at some point or another, we're going to have to go to a funeral, correct?
Yep.
And they're a drag. Let's not beat around the bush. Funerals are a drag. But I think I got a way to put the fun back in funeral, okay? So you know how the big thing now is they have gender reveal parties where everyone gets together, they have cake and they play games and everybody will guess the gender of the baby and it's a big production? I think we need to have death reveal parties at funerals. So when somebody dies, you don't figure out how they died until the actual funeral, right?
Oh, I see. So it's not like you don't know who. You say you
Yeah,
know
you don't
who
know
died.
but you don't know how they
You
died.
don't know how they died.
Yes. So it's like, oh no, my good buddy Bob died. Guess I got to go to the funeral and find out how. And you know, like you can go there, and again, they have like games where you can guess how Bob died. And I mean, obviously, like depending on how well you knew Bob, you'd be able to guess the cause of his death, right? And like, no matter what, it's going to have to be an open casket funeral. And what the embalmers can do is they can kind of like take his body and jimmy it up, you know, to make it, you know, to really like give you an idea of how he died. Like if he got, you know, shot in the head, they'd have like a gun laying on his head, or you know, like
Oh,
they'd sculpt something up, and you know, like everybody would guess how Bob actually died, or you know, if Bob was an alcoholic, they'd lift open the casket, there'd be all that fun, colorful smoke, and then he'd be laying there with a bottle of Jack Daniels, and you know.
So is that the reveal, or is that before people have finalized their guesses?
Oh no, that's the reveal. Like
That's the reveal.
everybody will finalize their guesses, and then it's like, here's how Bob died, and you open it up, and there it is. And you know, I think it'd be a lot of fun. You know, it would really make the funeral a fun day. You get to play games, and you know, everybody would be arguing about how he died. And you know, like for example, if it was me in there, it would just be me alone, dying alone in the casket. So
Couple thoughts.
okay.
I think that might provide you with pressure to die in an interesting way because you don't want to let your loved ones down
Yeah, it's true.
with a
And yeah,
boring.
exactly. You want to die in a fun way. Like you don't want to be boring. Oh, he died in his sleep, and you just be in there with like a pillow and a blanket. Like no, like I want to get mauled by a grizzly bear or something fun. You know?
Yeah, like, oh, my heart. I feel like I'm having a heart attack. Quick, honey, get the chainsaw.
Yeah, exactly. And then like you know, it makes it more of a joyous occasion. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like it gives you more motivation to not be so boring and die in a very interesting way. You know, and again, like I imagine like everybody writing down their ideas and you know, kind of like you pin them on this board, and you know, it could even be multiple choice if you want it as well. You know, like the spouse or the parents of whoever died could like, okay, here are 10 options on how Bob died. Which one was it? You know, A, B, C, or D, all the above, you know?
Is the prize like the will, like the
I was
inheritance?
thinking that. Yeah, like if you get it, or it could be if you don't get it right and you were in the will, you're cut out of the will. Then it would motivate you to really get to know the person well to make sure that when they
People
die.
would be cheating. They'd get like X-ray infrared specs to try to see into the coffin and
Yeah,
like grave diggers, but like before they're in the grave.
yeah. And I mean, it would really put the people who cremate others kind of in a bind, because if somebody wanted to be cremated, well, you have to wait until after the death reveal to cremate them, you know. But that, you mean, that could be part of the fun too. If somebody wants to be cremated, it's like, okay, well, the person who correctly guesses how they died could be the one to light the match, I guess. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Some people say it's morbid. I don't care. I think it's a good idea. It
This is
makes
what
you.
I want. If I die prematurely and my mom's still alive, when they open the coffin and my mom sees me, I want her to go, "Shit,"
Yeah,
because she guessed wrong.
yeah. Oh fuck, I should have known that. I should have fucking known. He got into heroin years ago.
I guess it's better for people to be disappointed that they lost a bet than sad.
Yeah. Yeah. See, again, it takes away sadness and it makes you just disappointed. You know? I mean, it would really be hard if like it was a pretty extravagant way you died and like it was on the news, but people who want to go to the funeral and win that will money, they'd have to keep it quiet. You know, you probably
Well,
see more people being EMTs because that way, like they would have like insider information, like, hey, don't tell anybody, but I know how Jimmy died, man. He fell out the window of a 5-story building.
yeah, you might be able to like browse their like Facebook history and see like, oh, are they smoking? Have they gotten
Yeah,
fatter?
yeah.
Do they have a dangerous job? Uh,
Again, man, it adds to the mystery. Or were they just a complete sicko and they choked on a banana while sitting on the toilet? You never know. And then the
why
embalming.
would that make you a sicko? I eat in the toilet.
Well, I mean, maybe when I'm feeling real low, but yeah, man, death reveal parties. I think it's gonna be the next big thing, man. In 2025, it's gonna be hitting like hotcakes.
I guess you could think of a funeral as not a gender reveal party, but as a gender finalization party, um, gender funeral. I don't know. I
Well,
thought I had something there, but
yeah, that's gonna feel like a
it
gender.
didn't go anywhere.
Usually they call gender funerals sex changes because that's when one of your genders dies and the other one comes on.
I
Death
guess
reveal.
everybody's asexual when they're dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hopefully.
You know, if you get bit by the Brazilian wandering spider, it's a very deadly spider. One of the side effects is you get a massive erection.
Yeah, they say that like sometimes people like sit up in their coffins because of like rigor mortis, something or other chemically thing. They don't mention erections, but maybe it's because it's not visible. Like
I guess I don't know, or
maybe they
maybe
tuck it, they duct tape it to the leg,
yeah, they pull the Buffalo Bill.
they suction out all the semen and oh
Yeah,
god.
they suck your balls dry and they get all the blood out of there, so you can't physically get. Oh wait, no, yeah, because they drain your blood, so you wouldn't be able to get a boner when you're dead. Blood.
Yeah, I guess sitting up doesn't require blood because it's
Yeah,
nervous system.
yeah,
Whereas an erection, yeah, it is the circulatory.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Well,
I was hoping to have one more good erection, but
yeah,
I
well,
guess
yeah,
not.
yeah. Like really, like hey, like let's make this one let's push a half inch out of this motherfucker. You know,
I want people to compliment my size
upon your death, yeah.
upon my death.
Like, well, I didn't guess how Tom died, but damn, he was fucking hung.
Yeah. Funerals are really expensive. And we mentioned the will, but you could
Yeah,
also have betting of the cause of death. Like,
yeah.
and then maybe the house could take a cut of that to pay for the funeral.
Oh, it's a good idea.
I guess you need a lot of people making big ass bets, though,
Oh
for the,
yeah. Like anybody can go to anybody's funeral as long as they're not banned. You know what I'm saying?
oh, maybe
Holy,
you have a private and a public.
you just open up a whole new can of worms because you could have like funeral betting now. It'd be a whole thing. Just these like fucking bookies going to funerals. You know,
Yeah.
there there'd be a whole market for it. Just oh yeah, I knew Sam from high school. We were buddies. By the way, I want to bet that he died of getting kicked in the head by a horse.
I wonder that brings up another thing too. Is it's like sometimes it's like, well, was the guy murdered or not? This might provide a financial incentive for the cops to reinvestigate because if like a big whale lost a big bet because they thought you were murdered and the cops were just too lazy to look into things,
Yeah.
they might like demand, they might even pay for like a blood test of some sort or a PI to look into
Hmm.
some things. It's like it might lead to more murderers getting caught if we could bet on deaths.
Yeah.
Or it could go the other way. It could be like people commit murder and then bet on it.
Knowing how the person died. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna bet at your funeral how you died and get some money.
Or it might not even be kill. It might even be like, oh, I could call 911, or I could just watch you die, sneak out of the house, and make some big money on a bet. Murder through inaction.
It's a whole new world, man. It's a whole new can of worms, and I like every second of it. I think it's gonna be the next big thing, man.
I guess there's already people could already take a policy out on you, or for the will, at least the will part, they could already murder you to get the will. So this is just like not adding a new incentive to murder you. It's just changing who's incentivized to murder you,
Yeah.
broadening it maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if it's a common death, there's probably multiple winners, so it's not like
Yeah. Which again, like if you and I were at a funeral and we bet the same way that someone died, we would have to split the winnings, obviously, or split the will, of course.
yeah, so maybe splitting out the money to more people maybe would disincentivize murder for wills for the big payout.
Yeah. Or I
But
mean,
then
like,
again, just to go back and forth, then again, you see like cops and like detective shows, and somebody will murder somebody for like $2,000 or
yeah,
something. It's like maybe it wouldn't get low enough to
yeah. It would suck if like you died in front of everybody that you cared about. Like if you died on your wedding day, and then everybody knows, and nobody would get a thing. You know,
yeah.
like you died from a heart attack dancing at your reception.
That would be because it's like there's a whole like annulment, like you have to consummate the marriage before it counts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you die at the reception, well, I've never been married. Do they go have sex between the wedding and the reception?
I know people who have.
But it's not like
It's
the
not like
custom.
yeah, it's not tradition.
But imagine that you marry somebody for their money, they die between the wedding ceremony and consummating the marriage, like in that tiny little bit of time, and so you don't get any money. They
That
have
would
to
suck.
have a really tame reception if you're marrying like a frail old guy. Like, no, you don't get up and dance. You sit down.
Yeah,
One glass of alcohol for you. Nobody bang on the thing. You might distract him, and he might keel over. Everybody, just be gentle.
yeah.
Would you be willing to be the first death to be bet on?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because I mean, I have no idea how I'm gonna die. Hopefully, it's exciting, and I really think it'd be great to be the first person. Now, I mean, obviously, not this year, of course, but I would want to be the first person to have my death bet upon and guessed upon.
So
I
if
think,
I hear that you've died, should I call up your parents
yes, like, listen,
and
he had
float
a great
this idea?
idea. Yeah, say
Send
like
them
he
the
had a great
video.
idea, and yeah, you could send him the video and say, look, it's proof. It's proof. My dad would probably love it. My mom, not so much. Yeah, I don't think my mom would be too pleased. My dad would be sad, but he's like, "Yeah, fuck, let's do it. Let's go ahead and bet on him. We'll bet on my son's death."
Well, they would be exempt, right? Because they would probably know, or whoever's like your next of kin, or the person
It
who runs the funeral.
it all depends on how I go out, man. We could finish the podcast. I could walk in the kitchen, slip, fall, bang my head, be it. Or in the morning, I could go out to work and there could be a stray dog that jumps up and bites my throat. You never know, man. The world is my oyster of death.
Jogging, jogging too far,
You know what? That's actually probably not a bad guess. A couple years
slipping in
ago,
the ice.
well, no, a couple years ago, I ran 7 miles on a day that it was like 102 degrees, and I drank plenty of water, and I wasn't dehydrated, but I was really overheating, and I got about 5 miles in, and like I just started seeing all these like black spots, and I couldn't hear, and I'm like, okay, I need to like chill the fuck out for a
Jeez.
little bit. So yeah, it was bad. It wasn't a smart thing to do.
Were you
Um,
alone?
yeah, I was alone. And
Yeah,
there were
that would
people
suck.
in my running club who were like, dude, don't do it. I'm like, I'll be fine. No, I wasn't fine. My brain was half cooked. Yeah, I got back to the ending point and just like laid on the grass for like 20 minutes, dude. It was a dumb idea, but I
I've
survived.
gotten Yeah, I've gotten heat exhaustion from
It sucks.
moving once.
It
Yeah, it
sucks.
can take a long time. It can take hours before you're feeling like normal.
Yeah. And again, like I wasn't
And
even
I was like
dehydrated.
shaky like all night. Like,
Yeah, just my body was just overheated, man. How do you think you would die?
well, an interesting death could be with my fitness gaming thing. I don't know if I told you about that, but I build the video game controllers into the fitness machines. So I have one for the treadmill and one for a rowing machine and a exercise bike. A couple times I tried doing like VR on the treadmill,
Yeah.
like so I couldn't see anything.
Oh,
Like
jeez.
I could easily fall and like keel over, like
Yeah,
rub all my skin off on the treadmill. That'd be an interesting way to go.
it would
Uh,
be. I wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought that at all.
well, now you have the you can take the long bet if I
Yeah,
die.
yeah. I had
Uh,
the odds are in my favor if you pass away. Yeah.
Probably be a heart thing or throat, stomach cancer would probably be it because I'm at high risk for that.
Okay, no,
So
I should be taking notes so I can
yeah,
I can win your funeral money here. That's boring though. That's pretty mundane. I go on a lot of hikes in the woods by myself. I've come across a few black bears and other shit. So I mean that'd be pretty fun.
do you carry bear spray?
Um, I don't carry bear spray when I go near black bears because most black bears are gonna be really afraid of you. All you have to do is make yourself look big and scream and yell, and they run away or they
Did you
don't.
have to do that?
I've done it every time I've seen one just out of habit, and most of the time they sit there and they see you and they acknowledge you when they go about doing whatever it is they're doing. Only one time did I get real nervous. It was there was one that was like up on a ridge and I was walking like underneath it and I was like, hey, you know, blah blah blah, like making all this noise and didn't like it didn't stop what it was doing and like run away. It stopped and looked at me and started like sniffing the air. And I was like, okay, this is probably not a good idea. So I hurried along the trail. So
Was
yeah.
that like in Michigan, like local?
No, no, not crazy local. The furthest south that black bears are in Michigan are going to be about as high as the thumb, but they're all over the UP. But you don't see them
Oh,
too much. Now, in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, where I've been a few times, they're literally about as common as squirrels. They're everywhere down there. So
huh.
you got to be aware. I do want to go to Glacier National Park this summer, and they have grizzlies in Glacier National Park, and that's one thing that you do not want to mess with. I will carry bear spray if I go to Glacier National Park.
My sister used to work there for about a summer, or a year.
Well, I
She
mean,
she wasn't an outdoors person like with run-ins or anything. She just worked the hotels.
gotcha. Well, there could be a way to guess how she dies. Something in a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like that like this woman who was found in like a water tower at the top
Oh,
of a
Elisa Lamb.
hotel. Oh,
Elisa.
you even know the name? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
That
all about that. It's
that would
crazy.
be the rare death in a hotel
Yeah,
that would give you the big bucks if you
yeah.
guessed it.
That's a creepy case, man. Like they had the video of her being followed, or they think she was being followed, and then like 5 days later, when people were taking showers, like the water was coming out. Like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
that.
they were showering in her decomposing tissue because she was in the water tower. Fucked up, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anything more with your idea?
Now that's pretty much it, man. You gotta guess how people die at a funeral. It puts the fun back in a funeral. I think it's an A+ idea.
Any shows you want to promote?
Just follow Random Banana Entertainment on Instagram. I've got shows at Bearded Lamb in Plymouth, Michigan. I've got Dearborn Brewing in Dearborn, Michigan. Downey Brewing Company in Dearborn, Michigan. Rusted Crow Distillery in Dearborn Heights, and Rusted Crow on the Lake in Belleville.
Awesome. Oh my! I have a Twitch channel called Gamey McFitness where I game on my homemade video game controllers connected to fitness machines.
This has been a production of Planet Amp Podcast, powered by Pinecast.